it's 5:30. So I figure we'll end when I do these little rollouts. Now this is my walk. Walking I park all the way down there where the bridge is. Have enough time to walk. And then do the final post. So I thought, this would be good. I don't want to quote a lot because then I'm going to have to go add those verses, and I do want to look at how much time I'll have by the time I get back to put everything up, upload this last video. I went to pick up dinner. I cheated. Sometimes I'll cook, but I figured, I'll pick it up. And the chicken place was closed. Church's Chicken, where I live. So I thought I'll do this McDonald's, Burger King, Whataburger. So I figure I'll go to McDonald's. Now it's nice. I walk over. Sometimes I walk further. It's maybe a 4 or 5 mile walk. This one, because I'll stop at the corner and then go back towards Flower Bluff. So I figured, the chicken place is closed. I'll do McDonald's. And I go into McDonald's. And I'm looking at the menu, and sometimes you got menu, they have different stuff, like maybe a taco type thing. And I thought, okay, well, I'll try some of the little burrito things. But then I'm thinking I want to order like chicken McNuggets and whatever, quarter pounders. And I'm looking, and so I'm ordering, give me the taco thing and something else. And I'm just about ready to say, where are all of the hamburgers? And then I see the sign on the order menu. I was at Taco Bell. Now look, it ain't that bad because they're close. It's easy to mistake it. So I did Taco Bell. I know when I visit Mike. Now look, it's pretty because you get to see San Antonio. Now you got to see Corpus. This is a nice walk. It's by the water. And I'll be heading back towards Flower Bluff. When I visited Mike, my friend the artist, which that video still has to go up, Mike asks me, one of the things that some of my friends really actually get excited about and they want to do it is when I take those trips to New Jersey and then when I walk through New York City. I had somebody said one time that you're not going to New York City, John, you're just going to New Jersey. No, actually, the area that I go to is right off the Hudson River, so I walk through New York City. We'll go to the George Washington Bridge. But some people are from, upstate New York, and they say, I grew up in New York. I think Sylvester Stallone was that way. But the city is Manhattan. But Mike is asking me the other day, he says, you think my Jeep would make it, John? Because he's been wanting to do that. And, the artist type thing and, a lot of the East and West Coast. I said, yeah, Mike, your Jeep would make it. And he's asking me, but how do you do it? I said, Mike, it's 1,800 miles from where we live. And actually, we live right off of the main highway here. Mike as well. I said, it's not that hard. I said, if I didn't have to stop for gas, but my tank doesn't hold a lot, you don't have a whole lot of stops because you're on the interstate, which is great. Of course, you're going to stop eventually, but I'm just saying it's not hard. And then Mike's asking me, and what do you do? Where do you stay? I said, well, I do. My mom still lives up there, and I stay there. I said, but I lived in the car for a week. A couple years ago, I lived in the car. Those that watch the videos. And then he was asking me, so you lived in the car for a week? I said, yeah. And how did you eat? I said, well, I eat once a day. So I go pick up dinner at night before I park for the night. But the funny thing about that is, Mike has lived homeless for many years. Lived under these overpasses and all. He knows better than I how to do it. It was just an interesting example because sometimes we think, we can't do things. we can. You have to begin moving. Momentum. I do better when I do these trips. And so when I do these, you figure I'm driving almost 300 miles throughout the day, but it's good. You're moving. You're on the go. I got to meet those guys you saw on the video before this. That brother, his girlfriend was a little like... But that's really one of the keys to everything. You just start moving. Just stay in momentum. I figured I'll do this last one because you can see the time. You can accomplish a lot in a day. The few news things I actually mentioned in writing because I got back to Corpus. I uploaded those videos and then I did some writing. So I'll end with a few of the news things that I already added on there. The Trump assassination play, what is that? They do a Shakespeare in the Park every year there in New York City, which is great. Broadway, you know. Well, the character that they're killing in the play is Trump. Now some, even on the liberal media when I was watching it, some were kind of asking the other liberals, well, just because it's somebody that might look like Trump, and even the other liberals said, well, you can see it's obviously Trump. So that's been, that doesn't upset me. But then, on a couple of mainstream media, even when you Google it, which I Googled it the other day, there was a lot of people saying, but they did the same thing to Obama in that play, like 5 years ago, whatever. And that was, look, I heard that from a lot of sources that were just liberal news. They said, but look at, you know, they assassinated Obama in the Shakespeare play, and now Trump's complaining about it. I heard that a lot. You know, somebody, I don't know. As soon as I heard that, without me having to research it, I immediately knew they were lying. How? Can you imagine Al Sharpton, people in the Black Lives Matter and all, they would rightfully be able to protest if they had a Shakespeare in the Park and they were assassinating an Obama figure. But the news was saying they did it to Obama. And then it took me a couple of weeks, and then I finally Googled it. They just lied. The news media lied on that particular day. Again, so much of it is a game, okay? And that's why I get upset with that. As we come back now into Corpus Christi, some of those guys I met today. Look, I like that area I was at. It's a nice, like, little ministry. I got a lot of friends here, living the same, you know, on the streets. If I could encourage people, one of the verses I already put down says, every place that the soles of your feet will tread upon, that have I given unto you. Every place you go, that have I given unto you. But understand, if you don't go, if you don't act, if you don't have some momentum. Now look, this is right on the other side of the bridge where I live. I still got about maybe a couple mile or so back to my car. But you have to begin moving. There are a lot of people that I used to have a mechanic in Flower Bluff. He was a fairly good mechanic. And one, I forget what is Bob White maybe, but I used to use him. And then one time when I went, he said, I'll be closing in like 6 months or whatever. I won't be, he's telling his customer. And I said, oh, brother, what happened? And he told me, he said, it's time for me to get out of Corpus Christi, you know, to go see some of the places. And he was a successful mechanic at his own. He never left Corpus Christi, if I remember right. Because then he was saying San Antonio, like I've got to go to see the Alamo. I've never been to San Antonio. I thought he was successful, But he never even left the city. Of course, I do San Antonio a lot. Not to condemn him. It's just he was stuck in a place. And he was successful, but he was still stuck. So I figure we'll do this last one. Remember those scriptures. I added on the first video of the day because I reviewed them. But I quoted a lot of verses. I didn't have to add those in because those verses I already have on that little addiction recovery. That's what those verses were used for. And when I pray them, I'm praying them over all of our friends. I have a lot of friends that were very big into recovery, much more than I was, though I'm still sober. And there was a disillusionment because that was a big part of their life. It became their identity. And when they, not because of me, they stuck with the program. Many of them are now in relapse openly, but there's a disillusionment because not only relapsing, Robin Williams, right, tragedy, but that was what consumed them. Recovery is all they go to. And when you relapse, all of a sudden, you lost your purpose because that became your purpose. It's a big mistake. There's a lot of people that I don't condone Mike's drinking, but Mike tells me, and he knows I'm sober, and he does say, John, I'm an alcoholic. Mike drinks a lot. But you know, he's accomplished a lot. And I give him credit. But he also talks to me about the Lord. And he knows that I'm straight. So most of all, stay clean, but accomplish mission. Okay? Stay clean, but fulfill your purpose. Whatever that purpose is, it's more than just not using the substance, okay? The substance might have sidetracked you throughout your life. And some people, like I said, were successful in various areas throughout their lives, even during the substance abuse. I don't recommend it, please. I'm just saying they've learned that there was another purpose. They would have excelled more if they didn't have that abuse. The Allman brothers, it just came in my mind, when Greg Allman, I think he's the Allman brother that recently died. And I had just watched the documentary on the Allman brothers before he died. But they also had another brother that, I guess, overdosed or something early on, I forget which one. But during the interview, the one who now died, before he died, during the interview, they asked him, when your other brother, band member, had died early on, like what decisions did you have to make at that time? Because for as far as I could tell, they're still using his ass. He said he sat down with the other brothers that were left, I guess, and said, well, guys, we could just sit around and be a bunch of addicts, just wind up, living like addicts. So we can just keep moving forward and make some good music. And they did that in addiction. It was interesting. They became very successful. But they said, look, we're gonna just keep moving forward. There was an element, of courage, even where they were at that moment. So I would just encourage my friend Mike. So how do you go on these trips? Or you've been doing it better than me as far as living homeless, living in vehicles. You know how to do it. But to him, it was like an obstacle too great, And it's not. It's not. We create obstacles in our mind. Okay? So we'll end just walking in. I figured this would be a nice little view, being you got to see San Antonio. And I'll upload this right now. Go through the verses that I'm posting along with this and be encouraged, okay? We've got a big country, we've got a big world. We have capabilities to really have a real outreach.